Okay, so our training is going to continue in the accounts receivable. Our next module that we're going to look at is account inquiry. One of the things you really want to keep track of is in our system, you're able to open more than one window at one time. And we have a screen called our customer inquiry screen, which is really your Bible. It tells you everything you want to know about a particular customer. So if I do Floral F2 and go down here and choose this customer right here, this tells me instantly that since they became a customer, or since we started this software, they did $179,000 with this company. This year alone they did $76,000, and this month they did $20,000. We also have everything else we want to know about the customer, including, and I can stretch this out a little bit, we have all of the invoices that they have and credit memos, and we can stretch this up or down depending on what we want to do. We can also limit the data that we want to see. Let's say, for instance, we only wanted to see, well, what did we do with them in May in May? If I change this to period 5 and this to period 5, then it will automatically limit it to only invoices for 2008, only for what happened in May of 05. If I change this back to all years and all months, and say I only want to see what's open, I can click Open Only. If I take that away, and let's say, for instance, a customer calls in and says, you know, I sent you check number so-and-so, how did you distribute that? If I click Checks, it'll come over here and show me all the checks, and we don't have any checks posted yet, so it's not going to show us that. But we would see all the checks, and when we click on it, it would tell us what the corresponding payment was for.
Check for D&E.
We'll take care of it. Okay, let's go look.
It's already been posted.
D. Which one? Earl.
Earl.
We're going to look at Earl. If I do check, it shows me, there's the only check, and it tells me instantly that it was for this invoice. And by invoice, going back here, we're back here. Now, number one reason for not getting paid.
Why you tell us?
Would you please stand in the corner? Number one reason for not getting paid. I don't have a copy of the invoice. So what you want to do is say, oh, I'm terribly sorry. Double click on it. The invoice will open up on the screen. Click here to print and tell it to email. Hit OK, and the invoice will instantly email to the customer.
If you have Outlook.
If you have Outlook. You do need to have Outlook on.
Outlook Express?
Outlook Express is fine.
You
Okay?
got Outlook Express, right?
Yeah.
I got us up on
Okay? Now that you have the customer on the phone, now say, okay, can we have a credit card to pay it? Sure, no problem. While the invoice is open, you can click Credits and Terms, click View and Enter Payments, add a payment, and fill in the blanks. And that will pay the invoice. Any questions on that? Customer inquiry?
No.
If you have the credit card module, right?
Yeah, if you have the credit card module. You have to have a credit card module in order for that to work. Customer Data tab tells you everything about the customer that you want to know, all of their information. And if I click this Sales History function right here.
Really quick. Yeah. There's two Jeffs.
Okay, so continuing along, when I've chosen the sales history, I can sort this sales history by date, by description, item, anything I want, and the system will automatically re-sort it for me. So if I wanted to see what this customer's last invoice was, by sorting it by invoice number, I can see exactly what this customer's ordered prior to this, and the date that they got it was May 22nd, 2008. That was their last invoice.
Is this
Invoice
Hassan's?
number. I'm sorry?
Is this for Hassan?
This is D&E, yes.
Oh, D&E. Okay. I build them
Okay,
in
please
June.
don't make those noises because it will be recorded.
I
Thank
build
you.
them in June, so,
Well, let's do it by date.
yeah, that's probably better.
There's a June 4th invoice, but the number is different, you see, because I don't know how you were doing it. Oh, because it's a 5-digit number, see? This is a 5-digit number.
Yeah, that's how the old owner used to do it, was with a 5-digit invoice number.
Well, we're using a 5-digit invoice number too, but we must have started too soon. We're gonna have to redo our numbering.
No. Well,
Yeah, because you'll hit a duplicate, 28,000. Well, it's gonna be a long time before you hit it, but.
yeah,
Hopefully not.
okay.
Okay, so in any case, it won't let you duplicate it. It'll
Just
automatically.
skip through it,
Yeah,
skip
well,
up.
you'll have to sit there and wait for it to find the next available number, so when that happens, just call us and we'll reset the number. Okay, so any questions on the customer sales inquiry?
No.
No? Okay, if the customer says, what's the status of my order, you can click over here and see if they have any open orders. In this case, they don't in the system. Customer might say, well, what was on one of my orders? If I click over here to shipped orders, I can click on the order and it'll tell me what was actually on that one order. And again, I have my drill downs if I need to reproduce. The last thing I have is if there are multiple ship tos with this customer, they'd be listed right here. And once you choose that ship to, it'll limit the data to just that one store. So if you had Bed Bath & Beyond, for instance, and you wanted to see what the store in Paramus was doing, you could put that store number in and it would just limit the sales for that one store. In addition to that, it would give you the ship to information. Okay? Finally is our sales tab, which tells us what we sold in dollars by month, 2-year history, January to December, with the bottom being the change in position. Anything in red means we shipped less this year than we did the year before.
What?
I like.
Oh, good.
How you saw them on the screen.
Now, one other thing it tells me instantly when I bring this up on the screen, it tells me the last time I invoiced the customer, which was on June 4th, the last time I received a payment, which was June 5th. It also tells me my average time to pay their bill, which is 1 day in this case, and their highest AR with the company, which was $1,050. Any questions on customer inquiry? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and minimize that, and we're going to go to our next stage. Our next item is invoice inquiry. Let's say, for instance, you don't know the customer's name, but you have an invoice number. If you click here, you can find an invoice by number or customer PO or invoice amount or sales rep, whatever you want, and bring it up on the screen, and that'll then tell you who the customer was. Questions on that?
No.
Okay? The next part of the inquiry screen is the reprint of invoices, which you will not be using from this screen. This is for invoices if you do not have the sales order module, but you do have that. The final thing is the financial snapshot. I don't like this one because it's difficult to understand, but if you... Okay, so this is the financial snapshot. The financial snapshot assumes anything past 90 days is not collectible. So you will want to change this to 9999 and hit refresh, and it would then automatically come back and show you what the actual receivables are. It tells you how much are in payables. Also it'll also do your forecasting. So this is if you want invoices due by, let's see here, 90 days. And 90 days, let's do 90 here. I don't know if it's going to change anything. I don't particularly like this particular one. It tells me what payments are coming due, or the payments that I can expect. I guess I don't understand it, but anyways, there's your there's your thing, and you can change it to a specific account. I don't particularly like this one, but anyways, now you know what it is. It's the financial snapshot. Okay. That concludes the inquiry module. The billing module. Nope, the inquiry module. Billing module is, if you didn't have the sales order module, you would use this to create invoices. But you have the sales order module, and that's what creates it. The only thing you might use in this module is the finance charge calculator. So let's talk a little bit about the finance charge calculator. The finance charge calculator actually creates an invoice for the finance charges. If it does do that, and the customer doesn't pay for it, you're going to need to go in and reverse it. So sometimes I feel it's a bigger pain in the backside than it is to collect the money. Now, I have one customer that religiously does it, and she makes $300 a year in finance charges. She spends
500 hours.
500 hours, but that's her thing. But anyways, that's what you would do here. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, so now we're ready to go into cash receipts. Cash receipts are when it comes in, no matter whether it comes from a customer or it comes from somewhere else, like a freight refund or a freight claim, it still needs to be put into the system. So the first thing we're going to do is go over here to the cash receipts entry. Cash receipts entry, you want to make sure that your cash receipt matches your deposit ticket, because reconciling your bank is going to be a nightmare if you don't.
We're going to match first month, so we're not working.
Well, it's not the first month, it's only a couple of weeks. Okay, so to start a bank deposit, you simply hit the plus sign and say record. Okay, fill in the date.
June 18th.
So we have June 18th, 0618. Okay, so we're going to put in the date, 061808, and they're going to fill in, Weber's is a customer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to come over here and we're going to look up Weber's by typing in. We have two lookup functions here. The larger lookup relates to the invoice. So if you know the invoice number, you know the amount, that's what you would use that for. The smaller lookup is for customer related. You know the name of the customer, you know the zip code, you know the phone number. If I type in EB and hit F2, the system's going to automatically go out here and look for that customer. So there we have Weber's. So when I hit enter on this, we're going to tell, was this a check?
No, credit card.
This was a credit card. And we don't know whether it was Amex, MasterCard, or Visa, right?
No American Express. So.
Okay, so we'll just put MasterCard. Okay? In the check number, when it's a MasterCard, you want to make sure that you put your authorization code in there. Okay, when you're on our system, it'll automatically populate that. So I'm just going to put CC and the customer number in this case. Well, no, can't do that. It has to be unique so that you don't post a check twice also. There's a spider there. Please move my bag or kill the spider.
Don't kill the spider, move the bag.
Kill the spider.
It's a cockroach. A cockroach.
Just what you want is me to take the cockroach home to your house.
No, bag stays.
You thirsty? What are you doing? You get away with it?
He's climbing up the
There
side.
it is. I'll keep them in Jeff's office.
I love spiders. Are we taping?
We are taping.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to just put a number in here. I'll put today's date, or the date, 061808,
We got someone to do.
and the amount, no, that's unique to this customer.
Oh, okay.
And the amount is 4650 even. Okay? Now, if I go down here and I hit match amount, include any credits, and hit pay all, the system will automatically go out and find the invoice that it matches. Okay?
Oh,
Any
for that particular customer.
For that particular customer. Okay? Any questions on that?
No.
I'm going to simply hit come up here. I don't have to do anything else except come up here and change the next customer. So these are negatives. Second day UPS. What is all this? How do you know what this is even?
I know what everything is.
Well, start explaining.
It's an intricate
Don't
accounting
worry
system.
about those two lines.
Okay, second day UPS, what does that
Don't worry
mean?
about that line.
Another second day UPS.
Don't worry about that line.
Dynasty Designs.
That's a customer.
Okay, is this money that you got in, this $131 and this $20?
Yeah.
20 cents?
Yeah.
Well, where did it come from and why?
No, the UPS charges,
That's our first change.
those are payments that I got from Dinesh.
Well, we still have to record it because
No,
it went
we
in the bank. Or it didn't go in the bank?
Let's do the customers.
Okay, I'm going to do Dynasty, DYN, F2. Dynasty Designs. Again, it was a MasterCard. The check number was CC 061808, and the amount was 120.76. Again, if I hit pay all, which I'm not going to do this time, I want to show you how to look it up next.
Thanks.
So I'm going to go here to add check, use my magnifier, and it shows me the check number. Okay, I hit the check box, and it brings it in.
Sweet.
Okay, the next one I'm going to do, I don't know the customer. I kind of know the amount. So I'm going to go over here and do a search by amount, and I'm going to do 419.20. Oh, there it is. I have one invoice here for 419.20. If I open it up and pull it in, oh, that is right. That looks right to me. I can now record that. Was that credit card also? CC 061808, and the amount is 419.20. Okay, now I got $419, but I really didn't. Let's say that instead of $419, he only gave me $410. $410 because he took a freight allowance. Okay, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say pay all. This is didn't find a match, right? So now I have to manually search for it. If I add check, click in the grid area, F3 to add a line. I'm going to come over here and say, okay, he's paying off this $419, okay, but he took a deduction. I'm off by $9.20. So I'm going to add F3. I'm going to do a general ledger account transaction against this because he took a freight allowance. So I'm going to go over here to freight income, which starts with 4. Freight income. And I'm going to say he took $5 off of his freight. So I'm going to put a -5. And I still need $4.20. There was a broken item. He deducted it. So now I want to do it against sales returns. Are you following me? F3, again, A, look up the general ledger account. Starts with a 4. It's always an income. It's a sales return for a -4.20. And now I'm balanced. Does that make sense? Are you following me with this?
Absolutely.
Like it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you would do a cash receipt. Now I'd really like to show you how to do this Ganesh one also. Even though it's not, this isn't the live book, so I'm going to just pretend. Okay, is this UPS that he used?
Yeah, he ran it, I paid the bill.
Great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up here and we're going to look for him as a customer.
Dinesh.
DF2. Is he in here? How do you spell it?
He should be a vendor.
It's not a vendor. It's a customer. You got money from a customer.
Yeah. He shouldn't be in there.
He should be,
Why?
because he's paying you money. So I'm going to create one.
It's Nash. The guy that comes in every day.
It's okay if you pay him. Plus, add the customer. D-I-N-I-S-H. E-S-H. I'm not going to fill in the rest because I don't really care about it. Okay, so this is Danish. D-I-N, there it is. There's no invoice. Again, it was paid with, this was paid with cash, so it would not be in this deposit. You keep your credit card deposits together, checks deposits together, okay? Because those are going to be different on your bank statement. You understand that?
Yeah, except these were all one deposit.
How can they be one deposit if it's part of
Because
the
he
credit
wrote
card?
me a check for that bottom total.
Okay.
So it's all one deposit
Okay.
in this case, but
CK, then I'll just change it to CK061808, and the total was 131.74.
yeah.
Add check, change it to account, and this was for freight. So again, this is freight income because we've already got the expense side on the UPS bill that we're paying.
Right.
Okay, so this is going to be a 4 freight and shipping for 131.74, and I'm going to just add them all in because it's all the same. So I'm going to hit F3. Oops, I made a mistake. So I'm going to hit cancel. I want to open up that one check that I was just working on. So to do that, there's a little magnifier right here. You see this?
Yeah.
And it shows me it's right there. By clicking on it, it'll bring it back up the screen, and I can then continue with the work that I was doing. F3 to add, type A, 47000, and the amount was 43.20. And this is good. And we also have these deductions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll show you how these are done.
Okay.
This is a negative deposit. Okay?
Which you typically can't do. But
Sure you can.
in
When a
this
check-
system, you
When a
can.
check bounces, it's a negative cash receipt,
Yeah.
right? Same concept.
I was talking about old system.
Oh, your old system, yeah, you can't do that there. So I'm going to save it. Let's find out what he's saying. It's saying it's not distributed. And it's distributed. Oh, I see, because I put more in here. That's why. I have to change this to 174. Did you see that?
Yep.
It wouldn't let me out until I fix it. So I look here and I say, oh, it's supposed to be 174.94. 174.94. And now it's balanced. Okay? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So save. And then I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to do 20006 because I knew that it was Dinesh. And I'm going to do PY for payment because he needed to pay. We needed to pay him back. I'll just do it as a 1. This is a minus 2,500. Okay. And then down here, I'm going to hit F3. Add check. Type A. And here, I'm going to fill this into. This was the lease deposit. So that's an asset deposit. So I'm going to look here for my deposits, which we don't have a deposit account. So I'm going to add a deposit account. And typically I like my deposits in the 1900 range. So I'm going to put it as 1900. Okay? 19000, and the amount was a minus 2,500. Okay? So that's actually going to reduce my cash by that amount because I didn't get the cash. Because when you add all of this up, it's going to increase cash by all of this, by deposit this as a deposit, and it's going to reduce cash because as you see up here, it's adding it all up. You see this is the total, and that should total that once I do this next deposit, negative deposit. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to save this 26026. Just look it up. Finish again because I forgot it. I select. I'm going to change this to PP or payment to whatever. Just have a reference because it's got to have a reference. And this is going to be a minus 1,300. Are you following me on all this? I'm not going too fast. I'm not confusing you. Add check, type A, and this was trade show expense, right? Booth deposit is a trade show. Is this a prepayment to another show, or is this that hasn't come yet? This was the Dallas show, so this is a booth expense. So I'm going to go over here, and I believe that's in the 7s. Trade show expense. I don't have one. Well, you would put it in trade show. I'm just going to put it in anywhere right now because we don't really care. Yeah. This is a temporary thing. This is a minus 1,300. And then what I would do is I would tab out a little bit further and I would put in here Dallas show booth. Okay? So that I remember in my head. So once I save this, we're off here because it says that the deposit should be 155570. So now I need to find out what we're wrong on. So we have, oh, I know why. You know what it is? Remember I said we did the adjustment right here, the discount. All those discounts we did, that's what the difference is. So I now know what it is. It balances. Yeah. Okay? And so when I'm done with this deposit, I close it, save it, run it, and I don't know how many you have in here, so I'm just going to choose this one because that's the one I want you to see. Yeah. And if I put it screen, this is what your cash receipt looks like. Okay? Yeah. That's how it hits the general ledger. It's hitting everything properly, and that's the actual detail of it.
Good.
Is that good?
That's awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you. And update, and we're done. So let me just check and see where we are in accounts receivable, what we have left. And the last thing in accounts receivable is, of course, the aging report. So when you go to cash receipt reports, accounts receivable reports, do it to the screen, fill in your date. This is how many people owe you money. With a total of 44,000.
There's more now.
That's right, because we haven't posted. Okay, and that, folks, concludes accounts receivable training.